All right, hello everyone, and welcome to the CTF Match Spotlight broadcast of Bedtime Boys, Team Dave versus Midnight Snacks, Team Food Court from our Draft Teams tournament. I'm Bosque, and I'm here with my co-commentator.
Hey, I'm Miski.
And I had the stream open in the sidebar, so that was actually kind of terrifying. Anyways, we are here for a pretty interesting matchup between these two teams. It'll be one of the first matchups of the Draft Teams tournament after Team Wolfie, Good Vibes, played earlier and secured the W. So very interesting to see how this one will go. We've got a couple of rosters with some interesting players here. So a lot to dissect, a lot to get a look at. We do basically have mandatory match rules as well as one Ninja Cat per map with no ghosting as our rules today. Forest of Rivals 1 will be our pre-selected map, and teams will select their own picks afterwards. However, we are going right into the game here, and we already see a very interesting sight. Team Red has Chactation on Archer.
Ooh, that is very interesting.
All right, so we do already see Blue's offense across the map here. We've got Cupcake alongside Carson and Gengar Sleep as the three main offenders, and lagging just behind, we have Patishley on Chemist. We're already seeing a lot of pressure onto Cupcake, but she has remained alive, and Carson is going right for the flag. Does get a steal, but Shoki takes him out quickly. However, Gengar Sleep gets right on through undetected, Shoki not picking up the soldier. And Gengar is out of the flag room. Looks like he's being caught, though, and has a lot of soldier pressure on him right now. The medic is gone, and it looks like he will be caught here if Red Team is able to pull things off properly. However, Gengar is able to slip past as Shoki prematurely detonates his frenzy, and the steal on the other side is going to come to nothing. So this looks like it could be a very quick first capture for Team Dave. Looks like we've got some questionable roster decisions on the side of Red Team as Food Court gets a steal here.
Yeah, that really just looked like Pyro inexperience to me. I mean, Shoki did not pick up the soldier and used the frenzy like pretty poorly there as well. A couple distractions coming through and it just led to a quick cap.
And it looks like the roaming's really struggling with these soldiers as well. Pi has gotten out now, and Cupcake is not too far away. Looks like Pi did get webbed there and is already on very low health, just half a heart on top of the roof here. He will drop down and will go down to damage. Shoki remains at the flagpole, so looks like he'll stay alive. Now, one thing with the Food Court's team is he did pick up a lot of inexperienced but potentially talented players. So it'll be interesting to see if that inexperience ends up costing them here. This is obviously their first full match as a team together. Now, on the other side of things, here we do have Link, also known as Jump Rope is God, with the flag running out towards mid. He has a medic behind him, and it looks like he's trying to stall to get over to them, but will go down before the medic is able to support. And it looks like Team Dave is able to survive that push. Notably here, we do have Dave on Scout on defense, whereas I Lost the Game is his Assassin.
Yeah, I think we're seeing some pretty interesting roster decisions here from Food Court. I assume they just couldn't get players on every role they needed, but Shoki on Pyro and Mr. An on Medic is pretty interesting.
Now we do have another steal here from Gengar. He does go down, but Pi is threatening a backup steal alongside Carson here. The water element is down on the flag, but it ends just as we see Pi go for the flag. So that will be the end of that offensive push from Blue. After that initial steal, it looks like Red has really settled in a little more here. 93 is going to get a steal, barely picked up by the defense here, but Hamza is able to get the frenzy. Hamza, we did discuss before the match as being a potential liability here for Blue Team, but already doing okay. And if he ends up being able to play this Pyro role very well, that will be a good late round pickup for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And another role potential mismatch we didn't notice is AP Literature is actually playing the Assassin instead of the Mage that they normally play here for Food Court's defense. Food Court did mention AP Lit as an Assassin player as well, but I didn't expect them to see him on it first map of the tourney.
Yeah, already a role we know that he can play from Olympus as well, though, so
yep,
definitely not an inexperienced assassin, albeit not one rated quite as highly as AP Literature is on Mage. And in fairness, this also is a fairly level map in terms of the elevation. around mid, so definitely a map that can favor Mage playing at mid. Interesting tactical decision, you could say.
Yeah, I think the use of Scout from one team as well is pretty interesting here. And again, like you said before, it isn't Will on the Scout, actually. It is Dave.
Yeah, no, we're seeing actually both of them, Dave and Will, roam up pretty far here to get pressure onto different parts of the defense. Will actually giving Food Court a really hard time there and gets the Assassinate, faking him out pretty quickly. But 93 is already ahead of the defense, does get tagged and killed by Dave alongside Hamza. This defense actually holding fairly strong here, although it looks like we're going to have Logic try and get into the flag there. Now, on the other side, there is an interesting note about this game. 2008, or Kriz, was actually unrestricted as of today, so he is eligible to play in this matchup. He was listed as restricted for the draft tournament, which may have led some team leaders to pass on him, but he did actually end up going relatively late in the draft, despite what we consider to be, his strong overall abilities.
Yeah, I think he is definitely one of the better PvPers like on the server right now. I mean, the only people I'd really put above him are Mike and like maybe Evan. So him going that late is like huge steal for them.
Yeah. Now we've been seeing 93 steal consistently here from Red side. The Chemist obviously being able to get out of the flag room proper fairly reliably. And we do have a follow-up steal here from Link, although he's not able to get very far. But it always seems like there's so much pressure from Blue Team onto the Medic that the support really isn't able to be there in time for a lot of these steals that Red is getting, that Midnight Snacks are getting.
Yeah, that combined with just like the offenses they're running in general, I think it's really interesting here that we're seeing, I think, double soldier from both teams as of now, which is not something I expected coming into this, but looking at the rosters, it does make sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we are going to see a steal here from Dave. Dave goes down relatively quickly, but there is going to be a backup from Gengar Sleep. He's been boosted a little bit forward here by Mike, knocked into a web briefly there, but he is going to be able to get some separation as he climbs up to the top of the flag room. Doesn't look to be on a lot of health here and will go down to Kriz. Chactation also harrying him, playing from the top of the flag building here. Also worth noting as well that BM5 is going largely uncontested underneath the middle structure of the map here. Now, we do see steals on both sides, but they both will go down quickly, and it looks like the game has definitely entered a bit of a lull state here, as BM5 is trying to use the sponge to get some cheeky headshots onto Jack.
Yeah, I think not pressuring BM5 here could potentially... I mean, they are pressuring him like every once in a while, as you see Slurp taking him down right there. But he needs to be pressured more. He is really the defensive carry here for Blue Team. And Chak isn't really an archer who I expect to be able to contest him, and he's definitely not playing in a position where he can, so those ninjas do need to be pushing up and getting on BM5. I think it's going to help out Red's offense a lot if they can do that.
Now, Food Court is tagged here and on 3 stakes, being chased by a ninja and a scout. But on the other side of things, we do see Link, jump rope at his god, get out of the flag room. Did look like he got webbed there, though, so he will go down quickly. Definitely an interesting choice there, and probably a good choice for the side of Red's offense to put Link on Elf and get a little more variety in their offense.
Yeah, I think it is a very good decision. I think running this... I think they were actually on triple soldier before as well, instead of 2, like I said, because Logic is on the soldier. So running this off is definitely good here. They could swap to a lot of stuff like Necker and Heavy as well they're not running. I want to see a little bit more diversity in both these offenses, but at the moment they are playing like a pretty straightforward offense, really. I mean, the Elf is adding a little bit of difference in, but overall we're just seeing soldiers go in over and over, and die to Pyro, die to Assassin, etc. I want to see things get switched up a little bit here, maybe.
And the constant focus from Dave and Will onto the Medic is definitely reaping some rewards here as well. Big Bird 404 here trying to get over to the flag, but will be brickwalled by Evan. And on the other side of things, we have another steal from Gengar Sleep. He's gotten out and is ahead of most of the recovery, although the Assassin will stall him there and allow the rest of Recov to catch up. Still, Gengar Sleep taking good advantage of the trees here, and while there are a few soldiers trying to get in his way, he has made it over to mid, where he does have a bit more support. The Frenzy did miss as Gengar dropped into the water, but Link is now pressuring with the Pure Element. We do have Abracadabra over here, the defensive medic, trying to support Gengar, and he will likely get that restore. In fact, does get it just now. The Assassin will go down as well, and Gengar Sleep looks like he's going to be able to walk this flag in and secure a 2-0 lead for Team Bedtime boys.
Yep, and both caps there by Gengar so far as well. And I think we saw one of the things you highlighted earlier not being done. And BM5 was unpressured supporting that entire time, and I think he actually took down 3 or 4 of the recovers just by himself when Gengar looked to be in a position where he could get recovered on fairly easily.
Now, heads up here, we do have Link on Ninja now. Looks like he will be heading to the flag room based on what I saw. Although I seem to have lost track of him.
On the flag post at the moment.
Yeah, it does go for Hamza, but is not able to get the finish. He is still alive, though, and will respawn. So, definitely some indecision, I think it's fair to say, from Red's offense, as Link is swapping around between a lot of roles here, as the rest of the offense definitely is struggling to get past mid. It's also worth noting as well that, you know, it may just be because of the pressure from BM5, but so much of Red's roaming defense is playing relatively close to their side of the map. That's not to say that they're not being effective, they're just not roaming out all that far.
Yeah, they're letting a lot of people through because of it. And as well with Link, he's now on the heavy. Like, he was playing the Soldier originally, which is okay. I like the Elf. Then he swapped to the Ninja, now over to the Heavy. This is the 4th class he's played here so far on offense, and they haven't been able to get anything going quite yet. Do you think this Heavy is going to be it?
Potentially, but really it does seem like there is an overall lack of coordination on the side of Blue Team's offense, of Red Team's offense. With that said, we do get a steal from Logic here briefly. Link's going to get the follow-up with the Heavy, but again, you know, the Pyro is still important there in the flag room for a reason. And it's not like Heavy is going to be some godsend class that's going to be able to get out of that flag room quickly.
Yeah, for sure. And I do think Heavy does, like, a little bit worse with their defense not roaming up, because that Heavy is saying so much pressure from those ninjas, the bulk, all of that, without anyone else really roaming up to, like, take it. I mean, he's getting hit by their offense on the way over. I do think Red Team here does need to start roaming up their defense a lot more, like you were saying, and that's going to fix a lot of the issues they're having right now on offense as well.
And it really does seem like Food Court in particular is having a lot of trouble here. Blue Team is definitely hard focusing him in. And even with support from 93, he's going down fairly quickly. Now, with that said, we do have a steal ahead of the defense here briefly from Big Bird 404, but he has been swapped back by Dave. Now caught and brickwalled by Evan alongside the rest of the defense. 93 has made it over pretty close, but Big Bird actually slips out on his own. Will go down quickly here, and 93 has taken a lot of damage trying to support Big Bird here, so he will likely reset as well if he is not face down.
Great job by Dave there on the scout. Not only did he get the swap onto Big Bird that eventually led to him getting recovered on, he actually swapped Food Court out earlier when Link did steal, and Will was able to get the assassinate off onto him immediately after. So very, very good job by him on the scout.
Yeah, 93 already under a lot of pressure, but is able to take down K-Rex there with the 2-tap. Looks like he and Logic will be going into the flag room from above as Link comes in from the side, and that will net a steal for 93. However, he is caught by the mobility there rather quickly. On the other side, Will is able to assassinate Link after he steals from the flag relatively cleanly, and Logic will likely be mopped up here now as well. Already, we are 12 minutes into the game, and Bedtime boys seem to be in a pretty commanding position. They're getting the longer steals when they do eventually get steals, and they're in a 2-0. They do have a 2-0 advantage. Again, we do see Gengar get a steal. This time he's not going to get very far. The Ninja's catching up rather quickly after he took some damage to the Pyro. But Blue Team's offense is keeping up enough pressure, of course, that Red Team can't start to commit more people to the offense without running the risk of further steals. Now, with that said, we do have a steal from 93, and Food Court is alive there to support him. Food Court will go down, though. Will is underneath as Assassin, but it gets taken out. And 93 is now out towards the middle of the map. He does have support. He's going over the lily pads, but gets swapped back again by Dave, extending the amount of time that 93 has to take damage here. Still, Food Court is going to get back and get the restore. So it looks like 93 may be able to finally cross the map here. There is some pure element spam from Carson that's doing a bit of damage. However, it doesn't look like it's going to be enough to stop 93, so we do get a backup steal from Cupcake. Cupcake does go down, and it doesn't look like anyone else from Blue is going to be able to steal. And just like that, Midnight Snacks have the lead of Blue Team and brought us to a 2-1 scoreline.
And just as I was about to make a comment about how good Blue's roaming defense is, they led through the first half of the game. But I mean, overall, we were talking about Hams as a potential weak link here on this team, but their defense, aside from that one cap, has been doing a really good job picking people up. Their roaming is dealing a lot of damage. People are getting on low health, and then Will and Dave are cleaning it up on the Scout and the Assassin. And so far, it has worked, with the exception of that one cap, and I'd like to see them keep it up here.
Now, we do have a steal from Pi. Pi has gotten out to the roof, but taken a lot of damage, and will go down here. There is not a backup steal, even though the Pyro did vacate the flag, as Paddishley will go down just outside. Now, speaking of which, that is one position where Blue Team is definitely in a little bit of a questionable situation, I think you might say. Paddishley is not necessarily a bad chemist, but does not main the class to the extent that certain other players do. So it'll be interesting to see if that ends up haunting Blue Team in the long run. With that said, Gengar does have a steal on the other side, and he did make it out relatively far, almost to mid, but got chased down by Red's roaming defense. Shoki again vacated the flag rim to chase, but that does mean he has a Frenzy here to help deal with Pi, and will take him out.
Yeah, so I think Paddishley on this chemist isn't the worst thing here, because all of the people around him, Cupcake, Pi, etc., have a lot of that experience. One thing I see over on Red side is a lack of experience here on that offense.
Yeah, definitely. Now, on the other side here, we do have Big Bird with steal. Big Bird not able to make it out, despite what was looking to be an okay juke there. We do still have Logic alive in the flag room. That's him on the You're So Easy account, but he will just go in and more or less suicide on the flag to reset here.
Yeah, down a stake or two there, gets death tag. He's going to go down very quickly, and that will be a reset for their offense.
So Link has decided to remain on this heavy here, which has been an interesting decision. Obviously, they have been able to capture since he switched onto the class. But do you feel that it's necessarily as good as having an elf or an additional soldier here?
I think it's better than having the additional soldier. I don't think triple soldier would be the player. I like the heavy, but I'd also like to see the elf as well. He's getting in a lot, but he's not picking up as much of the roaming as he can. He has the flag now, though, with the backup steal.
Yeah, now he will drop the flag, but there was no one there for a backup steal. Looks like he was expecting Big Bird to go for it. Big Bird will still get the steal, but does get swapped back again and will go down. Speaking of Will, he's been doing a fairly respectable job here on Assassin, and his style of Assassin definitely gives a lot of offensive players headaches, because he's known to not necessarily go for the int assassinate the way that some other people who play the class do.
And it's a playstyle like a lot of regulars and like players that have been playing competitive for a long time aren't used to. So I can't imagine these new players really like learning how he plays very quickly, and it might take the course of the entire match to do so. I mean, with Link on the heavy as well, you normally want to run that heavy to kind of like bait a lot of that damage from the ninjas, from the bulk, whatever. Like taking a lot of the damage and fight a lot of them, so the rest of the team can get in like fairly clean. But Link isn't doing that. Link a lot of the time is going in by himself early, trying to clear and knock back the Pyro, and a lot of the times it just results in the Pyro ending up with Frenzy when the soldiers come in.
Now, to clarify an issue for chat here, it should be noted that yes, normally players are forced to play on their main accounts here whenever possible, which is why I assume the question about Logic playing on the You're So Easy account is being brought up. However, he is allowed to play on this account for this particular match because he did have a login issue with his main account, and as a result was not able to access it in time for this match. So that is why we're seeing him on an alternate account here instead of his main.
Yeah, there's been an issue fairly recently where people will just not be able to log on the server on their mains, and the only way to fix it is restarting the server, getting in on alt. So it's just a lot easier for him to hop on an alt here.
Now, Big Bird has made it out fairly far towards the middle of the map, just BM5 trying to stall him with punch spam, but he has made it up to the mid structure. Doesn't have a lot of support directly with him here, and Will is able to get a very nice assassinate to stop that push. With that said, however, Link did get a steal on Ninja, will be recovered by K-Rex as he goes right into the roaming. But we have a further follow-up steal from Mike, also on Ninja. He's out on top of the flag building and looks to be purling towards mid, or wherever he feels that he's going to have support. He's going to reach the mid structure. He's on very low health and will die there before he's able to purl down. However, Big Bird is able to climb up and get to the flag, so already a very good position for Red's offense. However, Big Bird has been death tagged here and doesn't have a medic immediately with him. Food Court does finally make it over. Looks like he will get the restore, but on the other side of things, we do have a solo steal from Cupcake. Cupcake being pressured by ninjas here, but will, on very low health, have a medic following her. Looks like the regen has been off and the restore will go through as well, so Cupcake in a relatively safe position. Obviously, Ninjas... Oh! Big recovery from Evan, actually. And Cupcake should be able to walk this in. Was that just damage from Evan?
Yeah, Evan just took him down by himself, basically. It was almost a solo recovery there when the medic was on cooldown, it looked like. And I mean...
Wow.
And that's really good game sense there from Link and Mike with the double ninja backup stills. and a pass to a soldier, and you'd assume they'd have the advantage in the stalemate here, but Big Bird just goes down solo to Evan with support around him. That's crazy.
Yeah, well, having to support a flag holder does open up opportunities at the flag, and the reason why Cupcake was likely able to get the steal was because of the good individual matchup that Medic has against the Pyro. Very heads-up decision from her, as she doesn't add all that much to the recovery efforts herself, and that ends up rewarding Bedtime Boys with a 3-1 advantage. So, with 45 seconds here, that will likely be our final score, but since Red did not capture, they do still have the Ninja Steal as an available option at the flagpole. Looks like K-Rex is just camping the flagpole for that reason, so it looks relatively unlikely that Link or Mike will be able to accomplish anything here. But still, with that said, Red Team will be giving it one last go on offense here.
Yeah, and one thing you gotta keep in mind with that Cupcake cap as well is Mike, who was one of the defensive ninjas picking her up all the time, was actually the one who had the flag, which is why she might have been able to get in so clean and get out so clean as well. Seeing one last attempt here, Chemist does go down though.
Yeah, and with Food Court being caught again by the roaming defense on the outside, it looks like it's going to be the end of the game here. So a dominating, I think it's fair to say, in a lot of aspects of the game, 3-1 win there from Bedtime Boys. Obviously, Red Team was able to close the gap there a little bit at the end and definitely make things interesting, but definitely Blue Team here, Bedtime Boys, in the stronger position going into the next map.
Yeah, I think their defense played extremely well outside of like one small slip-up. Their offense could work on a lot of stuff, but like when your defense is playing that well, 2-3 caps a map will win the game for you.
Alrighty, so we are going to have a little bit of a break here to discuss things before going into the next map. Obviously, we're going to have Midnight Snacks here be able to select the next map out of the available map pool, so it'll be interesting to see whether we see something from the tournament that Red Team was able to play as some form of comfort pick, or if they go with one of the newer maps added to the map pool. As a reminder for the folks less familiar with this tournament format, we do have a map pool of 8 distinct maps for the tournament, and there is going to be one preset map from this map pool in every round that gets played. Works out quite nicely that we have 8 maps and 8 rounds counting the playoffs. Anyhow, looks like we're going to be going to Pagoda's 3 here as the selection from Red Team. Now, Pagoda's 3 was one of the 4 maps that was in the previous 2020 official teams tournament, and obviously teams will be a little more comfortable with it as a result. As we saw from teams like Ad Fundum when they played this, Chemist and Elf are considered very strong capping classes on here, with Soldier as a viable third option as well. Obviously, the map favors mobility a little bit more, but also the ability to survive large waves of roaming, which is why Chemist's immense health pool and Elf's very strong mobility, especially forward mobility, make them the go-to choices for this map.
This is a very weird map pick for me from Red Team. Biggest reason here is because I don't think this is a map you pick with Archer disadvantage. I think BM5 is going to be able to get a lot of value here, especially into the players he's playing against on the enemy offense. And I also don't think, while Red Team does have 93 on Chemist, I don't think they have a very prominent Elf player.
Yeah, and 93 does also have the option to go on Elf himself, so it'll be interesting to see if Red Team switches up their roles a little bit, but they definitely have an offense that has been a little more focused on soldiers. Obviously, Link could be playing the Elf himself, so there is that option available to them as well. But with that said, the offense for Blue Team is not necessarily as Chemist or Elf focused either.
Yeah, they do have K-Rex, so I guess could move up and play that Elf. That's a role I knew him for playing for quite a while. But Chemist is definitely a pretty interesting class for that team specifically in terms of who would play it. Like, it would be K-Rex on it, I think, so they're going to have to decide to run one or the other, and I think that's going to be the case for both teams, actually.
Yeah, either way, the Archer is going to have a very tough time dealing with BM5 on this map. It's a map that he's pretty familiar with, and he's known to both be very oppressive to play against for opposing offenses, as well as to be a nightmare for the opposing Archer when he chooses to push up and go on offense and support his team's offense. So he plays this map very actively. It's a map that Archer can play very actively, and it'll be interesting to see how Red Team chooses to deal with that approach.
Yeah, he likes to push up to one of the side platforms here. We call them yin yang, as they call it. On either side of the map, and Archer pushing up there can headshot spawn. You can headshot the enemy defense, etc. And that's something we'll see him doing a lot. And the question really is like, is Shaq going to be able to pick it up? And if not, like you said, who is it going to be? Is it going to be Mike, this ninja here, or is someone on offense going to have to target him on the way over? That being said, we are started though.
Yep, going right into the game. And we're already going to see Link back on this heavy here, so definitely taking a different approach than what we might have recommended. 93 gets pressured pretty hard by K-Rex there, and it looks like the Ninja's going to be right back around to look for Red's offense. Food Court as well getting pressured here. Looks like K-Rex has decided to switch over to that target and get some stake off. But that's going to mean, actually, that Red Team's offense gets into this flag room relatively clean. Food Court will go down before a steal happens, though. Definitely don't want to see a medic frontlining like that, and 93 does get knocked off the map after getting the first steal of the map.
Yep, and some of our expectations being met here pretty early as well. We do see Carson come out on the Elf, which is pretty standard for him here on this map, and we also see AP Lit swapping from the Assassin over to the Mage, which we know them for a lot more.
Now, Cupcake is still alive, albeit on very low health outside of Red's flag room here. Does not end up being able to support Gengar here, although Gengar does have a steal above Red Team's flag room. Looks like he's looking for support or a cheeky way to get past Red's roaming, but does get caught here by Shoki and will go down. Link has a steal on the other side, trying to get outside as Chemist, having swapped over to that from Heavy. Looks like he's lacking quite a bit here, and that allows him to get past the first bit of roaming. Does get really shot there by the Archer, will take a lot of health off of him, and the Ninja kill comes in just in time to prevent Food Court from getting over on Medic. Now, Big Bird looks like he will be stalled outside the flag room here, so that's going to be the end of Red's offensive push, most likely, as Logic will also int into the flag. Or, well, you might have expected that, but he has gotten out relatively far. We'll go down here, but that opens up the flag to Link, who will get a steal here on Chemist. Link going out, this time towards Blue's spawn. Looks like it's going to be a very difficult route for him, as the respawns are going to be very close here. However, with Chemist's massive health pool and Link's lag, he may be able to sneak past the recovery. Looks like he will get frenzied here, but Food Court is supporting him with regen. He somehow managed to survive all of that. He's on just so little health. I believe he's out of potions here. The medic being on cooldown for the restore. Another frenzy goes off, but Link is able to escape. He's on the edge of the map here with just roaming around him, and he will finally go down. But for the people talking about how Chemist is bad on this map in chat, I mean, if that isn't a demonstration of how insane the health pool is, I don't know what will be. And on the other side, 93 is out with a steal and with medic support, the Pyro being knocked away. But 93 goes up the sponge a little too fast, as the rest of Blue's roaming is up there. Now Food Court is there with him. Looks like there will be a concerted attempt from Blue's roaming here to take out 93, but he has gotten past them. However, that has separated him from the rest of his roaming, and will be able to take him out with an Assassinate. On the other side of things here, Carson has a steal on Elf going from tree to tree here to avoid the roaming defense, but will have to drop eventually. Does drop on the Yin Yang, and will get over to his team support. Elf also a very strong offensive class here. So we are going to see Slurp and Mikey try and get onto him, but the Ninjas are going to have a very hard time getting past Blue's support here for Carson. On the other side of things, we do see some attempts at a backup steal. Link is there to support as Ninja as well. Two Ninjas actually supporting 93 to keep the roaming off of him. Pyro is closing in on 93 as well. Hamza did get in close, but will not be able to get the Frenzy off there most likely. Looks like there is going to be a concerted attempt to knock 93 off the map here, as he's being separated briefly there from the rest of his support. Hamza catches up with the Frenzy, but does not catch the Chemist. And it looks like we are going to be heading to a Chemist versus Elf stalemate here, assuming 93 is able to make it over to his team's spawn.
Yeah, we see both teams giving a ton to support there. Originally, I was going to say the difference between Blue Team and Red Team here was that they were putting so many people on support. Red Team was getting more good steals initially here, but they finally row up support their steal, and we are going into our first stalemate here of the match.
Now already we see Red Team take this position above the flag room. Not actually in a position where they can be headshotted through the wall here, so they're definitely playing this a little safer. However, it is a position that can also be headshotted from the side or lead the player to be pushed into a headshot from the side. BM5 not in a headshotable position right now, though, and will be knocked off the high ground by Mike.
Ooh, 93's off the map. Stop from Dave.
Wow, and just like that, we are going to see both an immediate steal and a capture from blue team. Now, it looks like Evan has climbed up the side of red spawn and will be heading out towards the middle of the map here. He is on Soldier, and the backup steal may actually just put even more pressure here onto red team. Looks like he's already relatively low on health, and he's looking for a pass. He's trying to communicate it in comms. But red team is not chasing him up immediately, and wow, just like that, Slurp sneaks in and gets the recovery, ending that threat. However, K-Rex does have a steal as well. K-Rex is out towards mid on Ninja, is able to use eggs to keep the pyro off him, but will be recovered by Slurp as well. Big Bird 404 has the flag on the other side and does have some degree of support. Will drop to Food Court, though, as Food Court has it on Medic. Food Court is near his team's spawn here, and while he is being chased by a lot of the recovery from blue team, including Dave with the death tag, it looks like he's going to be able to use some slight mobility tricks there to get away. And this could be the tying capture here from red, as Midnight Snacks look to even up the score with Bedtime Boys.
Yep.
Now, on the other side of things here, we do have an immediate backup steal from Pi just after the cap goes through. He's on Necro, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to tank all of this roaming pressure for too much longer. Does have a medic there, but the medic is not able to stay alive. Pi's Necro, on the other hand, is able to get out to mid, using a lot of knockback as well as the skulls to stay alive for almost long enough to get to the medic, not quite able to do so. And now we are back to a little bit of a lull state here after the backup steals finish off. We do get a brief steal there from Link, but he's going to be caught by Dave. And on the other side, we are going to see a steal from Carson. Carson trying to get up to the sponge and wind over towards the middle of the map here. Looks like he's being chased by Food Court, who's not actually on offense for the time being, but Carson is going to be able to get ahead of the first wave of the roaming. Not going to be able to do so for too much longer, though. And while Dave is going to attempt a revival tag to Ninja Steal, it's not going to go anywhere.
Another steal coming through here is Panishly. I'm going to boss a break if we're talking for a minute. Going to be getting chased down here by the recovery of red team. It's AP Literature and 2008, which is Kriz on the recovery here. Does not have the medic quite yet and will likely go down here on the chemist. Very tanky, though, living quite a while. Slurp's putting a lot of damage in him, though, and he will eventually go down, and Mr. Ant will net the recovery.
Alright, now after that quick succession of steals, we are going to see Big Bird attempt one himself, but go down. Gengar has a steal on the other side, and is up to the top of the flag room, but not ahead of the recovery just yet. A lot of people closing in on him, and a nice freeze from AP Literature, who has swapped over to the Mage, class he's probably best known for, is able to stall him for long enough to allow the roaming to catch up to him and get an easy kill.
Carson looking to come in here on the elf as well, does water the flag here. Ooh, Shoki put in a lot of work in here on Pyro, actually.
Now, Carson does almost make it up the stairs there and force the Pyro to chase him, but will not be able to get too far. This has been a very back-and-forth game so far, with a lot of quick steals happening. Not a lot of time left to analyze everything as we go. But
yeah, I'm surprised that we're still 1-1 after all that.
Yeah, both teams definitely putting on a lot of pressure. Now, we do see BM5 get pressured there by Food Court, which is perhaps what we're seeing from the side of red to deal with BM5's immense Archer pressure. We do see Hamza get knocked away from the flag there by Link. There's not an immediate follow-up steal, and it looks like 93 will not be able to make it to the flag even before going down. Water Element is set down onto the side of Red's flag, and Gengar Sleep is going to be able to get a steal as a result of it. Did take a lot of damage in the flag room there, though, and is being knocked around by Archer shots as well as the roaming defense. He has made it out to the side, though, and gotten a little bit ahead of the recovery. Medic is going to be there near him as well, but Cupcake is being hit around quite a bit. The recovery comes through just before Padishley is able to pick up the flag, but Pi has a steal going up to the top of the flag room as well. Pi has support from Carson, but the medic did die not too long beforehand, and will actually just jump right down into Shoki's Frenzy to end that offensive threat.
Yeah, I think one thing we haven't been focusing on too much here actually is Carson's elf. He had a very good steal earlier. Almost got the pass on top of red spawn from Evan as well, and these water spells are doing so much work here. Again, we noted that Shoki's a fairly inexperienced pyro here, and a lot of inexperienced pyros don't really know what to do when that water spell does get thrown down. They'll either waste the frenzy or they'll just hold it too long and not be able to use it for anything productive. And I think that's happening over and over here. It's just, this map is very, once you get out, it's very hard to get over this little like hill here right towards mid. And that's where red team is actually able to stop a lot of these steals and a lot of these potential caps.
Carson does support Paddishley with another water spell here as he goes in for the flag, but the steal is not picked up immediately. AP Literature gets a nice freeze in the flag room, and it looks like Pad is not going to be able to make it very far there. Does go down, and Food Court is just outside of the flag room and not able to support. However, we are going to see one more attempt here from Blue Team as Gengar Sleep goes into the flag. Dave also there to support as Ninja, but it doesn't look like he's going to be doing anything, with Shoki's Frenzy finishing things off.
Yeah, and I'm still thinking here that Red's rolls are pretty questionable. Again, they do have check on the Archer, but I'm really looking at their offense here. They aren't running the Elf. They're running the Necro here, I believe, as well. Or no, it's actually Blue Team running the Necro as well. So I think they're just running a lot of soldiers here again, and I can't seem to think that like running more Chemists or running more Elves would be helping their offense a ton here, especially into the defense they're playing against.
Absolutely, the soldiers being pressured all across the map. Now, with that said, they are also sort of taking the same route as a group, which is not what you want to be seeing from Soldier offense. Soldiers obviously are able to use their mobility to make roaming defense kind of difficult for ninjas and so on, because they do have superior mobility around tall structures and the like. But when they clump together, they do become a relatively easy target for the entirety of the defense to focus on, instead of splitting up and forcing the roaming defense to make decisions as to which individual player they go for.
Yeah, to me it just seems like a communication issue. I mean, we have Big Bird, Logic, and 93 all getting these steals, but they're going in one at a time without each other. They're not communicating when they're going to go in, when they have support. They're going in one at a time, they're getting good backup steals. But, I mean, it's going to end up with situations like this, right, where the medic has the flank between pushes. He's going to have to drop here, and they're going to have to try for a backup steal, and it won't work out.
Now, Gengar did briefly get out of the flag room there, and Blue Team is going to have a backup steal from Dave as Ninja. Does go down despite the revival tag, though, but Pi is going to be able to pick things up and immediately has medic support as well as ninja support from Cupcake. Will run right into Shoki, but Shoki's immediately getting pressured down there. However, the rest of the support going after Shoki means that Pi has been separated from his additional helpers. They will eventually catch up as the Necro is able to tank a lot of damage, but Shoki has caught up again. The Pyro looking to hunt down Pi, looking to get the Frenzy off, and Mr. Ant is actually able to get the finishing blow, with damage alone taking down the Necro.
Yeah, and for Blue Team, not only did we see that good steal, we also saw a very good Assassin play again there from Will. Link was out with a clean Chemist steal. Will comes in behind, gets the Assassin on him, Food Court picks up his medic, and then is swarmed by the rest of Blue's defense.
Now, we are going to see an attempt here from Red Team. Big Bird and Link getting into the flag room together. The Frenzy will be dealing a lot of damage, and Big Bird does go down. However, Link does get a follow-up steal. There's a lot of flint down on the ground, but Link is able to get away from the roaming briefly towards spawn side. Will go down to the eventual ninja pressure, and there is no backup steal. So Red Team again stifled with Logic and another soldier. Big Bird coming in at an inopportune time there. 93 looks like he will be going for the flag as well, but is being chased down by multiple ninjas. Dave trading hits on him, and Chak actually taking him out with the archer shot.
Yeah,
Food Court now has a steal, does go into the flag room ahead of the rest of his team, though, and Link is not able to pick up the backup as Food Court tries to drop it so he can go for the steal.
Yeah, and what I was saying there is that I think the Red Team has been getting the better steals consistently on this map. It's just that they're not going in together, and they're not getting that support. But with all these good steals they're getting, imagine if they were just going in at the same time. They'd have so much support, and they'd be able to convert some of these into caps, which they aren't able to do right now. And I think that's something where I'm looking towards Food Court here as the medic, the team captain, or one of the, not the team captain, but, oh, he is the team captain, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
As the medic, as the team captain, someone with leadership skills, someone we know who talks. I want to see him try and coordinate this.
No, we did see a very good setup there on the steal from blue team, with K-Rex knocking the pyro away as the water element went down on the flagpole from Carson. Gengar has made it out over towards the Yin Yang here, doesn't have a lot of support left with him, but was able to make it pretty far. This is still a very threatening position that red team has to deal with, even if they are closer to Gengar than his support. The ninja's finally opting to go up on the tree, and do manage to take him out before blue team can pick up the flag. But again, a very threatening steal from Gengar, in part because of the setup that blue team were able to get before the steal.
Yeah, we did see another really good recovery from our loss of the game on the other side. Does not get it this time, though, and Link is out in front of the recovery as Chemist here.
Yeah, definitely the worst position to be in as a roaming defense, trying to stop a Chemist that's gotten ahead of you. However, we do see Dave get in front, stall him, and that's allowed blue team's recovery to get in close here and get some damage off on the Link. However, he has juked them out and made it over towards the spawn here on Chemist. He is over by his team's spawn side. Hamza is close, but likely will not be able to catch the Chemist's speed, and that is going to be most likely a second capture here for Midnight Snacks, taking the lead with about 5 minutes left.
A lot of people dying in this fight right now. Will comes in, gets a couple assassins as well, Medic comes in after, but the will go down. I think the biggest thing there is Food Court had very, very good individual play on that cap from Link. Ended up healing off the Frenzy from the Pyro, and then immediately responding to reset his cooldown, run back out, and give Link his pots back, which eventually resulted in him getting the cap, and Food Court being able to knock the Pyro back after that Frenzy was used.
Link definitely breaking some ankles there from the recovery defense as well. Now, we do have Food Court go into the flag room first to open up an opportunity here for 93, but that probably means he's not going to be able to support the Chemist immediately. Will is able to get an Assassinate there, but we do also see Logic attempt a Ninja Steal on the flag. A new wrinkle there that we have not seen from him so far.
Yeah, and that's something that in the past he was known for. Again, Logic is the Dashing Dragon. He's a player who was on DF before and was known for getting those clutch ninja caps, getting a little bit of soldier play in there, but again, like, in casual, he was known as a ninja capper, so good to see it come out from him.
Now, we do see two Chemists go in there. Link will go down, but 93 has made it out further, is going towards the trees, will be caught by the Pyro here, and frenzied, but not immediately taken down. The rest of Blue's roaming should definitely be able to do the job, though, as there is a lot of pressure onto him. Food Court is trying to catch up on Medic, but ends up being about 25 or 30 blocks too far away. And as a result, we are going to see that push fail. Pi gets a steal briefly on the other side, but it looks like Blue is not being able to really get the same success on offense that they were earlier.
Yeah, and we're seeing similar issues with their offense that we saw for Reds on the first map, actually, as well. But that being said, Big Red Bull does have a steal at the moment.
Yeah, he's going out towards the trees again, this time on Soldier. Not the optimal class for going this route, perhaps, and he's not been using the trees as much as you might expect, but he does have a lot of support there. The Archer is getting headshots, and Will comes in with a very nice Assassinate to finish things off. On the other side of things, we do have a steal from Carson. Carson this time on Chemist instead of Elf, and looks like he'll be getting across towards the Yin Yang here. He does have a revival tag that was likely meant to clear a death tag, and the Pyro is able to go to be knocked down just before... Oh no!
Oh.
Slurp comboing Carson off of the map. That's the danger of that route. And a very, very crushing blow to Red there.
Oh, and that pass was crazy from Link. Drops it mid-air into 93 as they both jump down from the top, and he is out now as Chemist.
Yeah, no, Will does come in with another Assassinate, doing a lot of work on the Assassin there. But we are going to see an attempted backup steal here from Logic with support from AP Literature. Questionable decision from the mage, as Patty has a steal on the other side. This time on Chemist does go down to the Assassin, and there is potential for a backup steal, though. Pi, getting out of the flag room, does have the Wither down onto the Assassin here, so he can fight him with a fair amount of confidence. But Chris is able to stall Pi for long enough to allow the Pirate to get back and finish things off. On the other side of things, 93 did get a steal, but did go down rather quickly. Now, we do have about a minute and a half here left in the game. Bedtime boys will need to find something pretty quick here to tie things up. I believe they do still have their Ninja Steal available, but they may just continue to attempt their existing offense with a few wrinkles.
Yeah, and I think we are seeing potential panic steals from both sides. One thing we didn't notice a couple pushes ago, Carson actually swapped over from the Elf onto the Chemist here, something he's not very known for playing. And we actually have Kriz for Red Team over here swapping onto the Assassin.
Yeah, now we are going to see Paddishley get a steal here, go out the side, does have medic support there, but also gets frozen by AP Literature. And right now, time matters. So every additional little bit of stall onto Paddishley here, even if it's not an immediate kill, is going to be so problematic for Blue Team. Now, we do see him go down to Mike's damage, but Cupcake is able to pick things up. Cupcake, however, being pressured really hard by the roaming and will go down. I think at this point it's going to be very difficult for Blue to get across the map, but Carson is going out spawn side this time and has made it over near the sponges. Does have an assassin and a ninja on him, but 2 ninjas now, actually, but does have support from a chemist as well. Pyro is catching up, but does not manage to get the kill as 2008 gets the kill instead. With just 3 seconds left, that's going to be the end of the game, and we have a nice 2-1 return here from Midnight Snacks on their map. However, we are going to be seeing Blue Team get to pick going into map 3.
Yeah, what an interesting turn of events here. Again, we were talking about how this might not be a very, very strong map pick from them, but they actually come out with a 2-1. And again, like you said, it'll be very, very interesting now to see what Blue Team here does select for map 3.
All right, we see Park Life in chat. That'll be a very interesting selection if it does end up being the case. Park Life, or Park Life 1, rather, being one of the 4 new maps that are in this map pool. It's a map that's definitely has a very enclosed flag room, but at the same time is quite short and can favor strong solo capping classes, again like Chemist and Elf, in addition to what you might expect, which is the heavy Necro, Chemist, Medic bulk offense that some teams are wont to run.
Yeah, and I do think mid control is going to be extremely important on this map. Both top and bottom mid are viable capping routes. You're almost forced to go through them if you want a solid cap. Going the sides is very, very dangerous with how easy it is to get knocked into the void. So for these archers...
However, we are going to be seeing Blackout here as the map selection, not Park Life, as was initially brought up in chat. So going to Blackout is going to be a bit of a different scenario. It's a map that teams are all very familiar with. It's a map that allows a lot of different playstyles, which is one reason why it's so popular. And it is a 5 capture map as well.
Yeah, and just how I mentioned the last map, might have been a weird pick for Red Team because they have the archer disadvantage, you'd assume. I think this is a super strong pick for Blue Team for the exact opposite reason here. BM5 is someone who we know can get a ton of value on this map consistently, and I think that could be the difference maker here in our final map.
Yeah. So I expect we're going to get a relatively short break here. But after that last map, Mike, how do you think things are going to go here on Blackout? Would you say that Blue Team is a solid favorite? Would you say that Red Team has turned the momentum? How do you think things are going to end up?
I would say Blue Team is a solid favorite, and it's really hard to really tell who has the momentum after the last map, because it was a 2-1, but it was constant back and forth the entire map, with one team just slightly edging out on top. We saw steals over and over, again and again. And I mean, there was a moment there for 3-4 minutes where we didn't get to stop talking, you know what I mean? So, I don't know if Red Team is really going to come out with that much of an advantage there, and I don't know, I do just think Blue Team is going to be able to turn it around here. That would be my prediction if I had to make one.
Alright, well we've got 5 seconds. We're going into map 3 here in this Draft Teams Tournament group stage matchup between Midnight Snacks and the Bedtime Boys. So let's see how it all winds up going down. We do already have Dave going for Red Team's flag as Ninja to immediately get pressure. Yeah, looks like they are going to be able to catch him, but Blue Team's offense is going to be able to make it across the map relatively safely here, one would think. Cupcake has been isolated here by Slurp. Not a lot of support onto her, but Gengar is going to be peeling the ninja off here briefly. So Cupcake already established on XXX dead, but on the other side we do have a steal from Big Bird. He's made it up to mid, and Food Court was actually there to support. Will now be headshot by BM5 just before going to the bars. That Archer difference definitely very important here, but 93 has a steal on Elf, and that's going to make things harder for the Archer, one would think. Still a lot of roaming onto the Elf here, though, and it is a class with a relatively small health pool, but Food Court has caught up. Gengar will go down on the other side, but oh no! 93 just falls off the map, and that's going to be the end of that. Already some very threatening steals from both teams here.
Yeah, and I really love this adaptation that Red Team is having here. They're over onto the Chemist, they're over onto the Elf. Chemist, Elf, Soldier, Medic, I believe is what I saw them run, with maybe a second Soldier in there. And they will get another steal here, goes off the edge of the map and will die. But again, running this Chemist and Elf, it's something we highlighted at the start of the series, and they're finally onto it now.
Yeah, BM5 getting the headshot there as the Soldier was being knocked into the void. Just to say, no, absolutely not. You're not coming back onto the map. We do see Evan pressure Big Bird here as he looks to go into the flag room. Will get the drop and the steal, but not out of the flag room immediately. Still taking some damage, does get headshot again, and BM5 already having a very big impact. Now on the other side of things, we do have a steal from Gengar. Some support there with him, but notably not a medic. He will be trying to climb up to XX, actually fakes out Kriz and gets ahead of him very briefly there. However, Pattersley not able to support enough as the Chemist, and it looks like Blue Team's offense will be resetting.
Will found a very good assassin on the other side of things to stop a potential steal there from 93. And yeah, he did fake out the offense there with that juke, but got caught on the terrain there, and Kriz was able to get right back in front of him and knock him back. We're seeing a lot of explosive steals already here coming out on Blackout, only about 2.5 minutes in.
Now, with Chak trying to contest mid from BM5, it is also interesting to note where we're seeing AP Literature play. AP Lit is playing Mage on the low ground here, and is not going to be able to contest the Archer, so Blue will likely be able to control this top side of the map, as they do have the edge in the Archer matchup, one would think. We are going to see a steal from 93. 93 going out the side here as Elephant getting a bit of separation, but gets caught in a web. Food Court there to support, but so too is the roaming defense. And while 93 does have some help here, there is also a lot of pressure onto him. He will still get over to Food Court, though, despite Blue's best attempts, but will still go down to Dave's damage, and Pi has a steal on the other side. Pi has made it over to Bars, not lightninged off, and now with just Slurp there to try and stop him from getting to the medic, this looks like a very safe position for the Soldier. Now we do have a follow-up steal on the other side from Logic. Logic going up to the high ground, but BM5 taking him out. Looks like this is going to be a capture here for Blue Team, and despite some lengthy steals, you might say, Midnight Snacks are down already on Blackout.
Yeah, and one thing we did see that we haven't seen much this series so far is Chak did actually roam up and get a kill onto BM5 when his team had the steal there. It just so happened that the steal was as an elf. Dave was able to get the recover there on Ninja, and he took him down just not at the perfect time there.
Now, we are going to see a steal from Big Bird, caught in the web, though, very briefly, and will go down before he's able to get up the wall. Looks like Red Team's offense is going to reset here with Link buffing. And I'm going to be following here just to see how Food Court and Link are doing here, as we've mostly been seeing the Soldiers get the steals. Looks like there is going to be roaming up here on XX Dead, and Food Court is going to briefly drop to try and avoid that. Instead, we're going to see the Chemist try and deal with the roaming here, but Will and a Ninja do get onto Food Court. So already a lot of pressure on the medic, and he has been isolated from the rest of his support. However, he still does make it over to the flag room as the steal is coming through. Definitely a good job done by Food Court so far, is able to get over to Link and heal off the Frenzy. So the Chemist is out of the flag room. Second Frenzy does come down, though. A lot of damage onto Link, and Food Court again there to try and support. Looks like Link is going to be pressured by ninjas here. He's dropped very low, but does manage to pot himself back up. Nice web onto the sponge there from Abracadabrax, and Link is forced to drop back down. He may be going for a bar pass now, or a pass to a teammate. We do have one ninja there. Dave shows himself, and so does the Pyro. But again, the Frenzy is going to be cleared off of him, and we do go for the bar pass. Food Court is able to pick it up on the other side, and we do see a tech there that I haven't seen in a while, but is definitely very well known from Link to get the pass through the bars. However, Food Court is in danger of being hit into spawn there. Oh my goodness! He climbed up onto the block, but it was just the very edge, and it didn't recognize him as being in spawn. He will still go down to K-Rex's damage on Ninja, though. And we are going to see Gengar Sleep have a steal on the other side. What a crazy moment there. Food Court almost going down to the spawn, but the block not recognizing him.
Ooh.
Now, we do see a freeze from AP Literature onto Gengar Sleep here. That is going to allow the recovery to catch up, but also Cupcake. Gengar, however, going up and away from his medic here as Cupcake is being stalled. However, he does make it over to the other side of the bars. Cupcake is going to respawn, and this looks like a very safe position for Blue's Soldiers. Again, nearly threatens with a knock into spawn, but it's not going to be enough, and Gengar Sleep will get the second capture here as Pi gets a backup. Pi, however, does get taken down inside the flag room, and 93 is out on the other side, again as Elf. With a lot of ninjas here from Blue Team's offense, it's definitely a very difficult task to get out on Elf on Blackout. But he is at least managing to get separation, and with enough support from this team, 93 could put together some very threatening steals in the near future.
Yeah, and what a crazy series of events we just saw. Again, what happened with Food Crit there by the spawn. We also had a ninja steal from Mike on the other side, and Dave predicted his Pearl right as it was about to drop the flag over to a soldier. Got the recovery. So many things happening there. But one thing I will say is we do see a lot of very, very good coordination coming out from Red's offense here, actually, surprisingly, even though they are down 2-0 at the moment. They're watering the flag, Medic is getting in, and they're doing well.
Yeah, 93 is setting himself up with these water spells, but a nice headshot from BM5 just as 93 was landing is going to settle that score. Looks like Logic is going to go for a ninja steal, actually go after the Pyro instead there and knock Hamza to half a heart, but not get the kill. So Link is not going to have an easy time getting through here, as Chemist will get frenzied, will likely go down here to Hamza, actually manages to tank through everything. A second frenzy goes off, and Link is still alive. Does have medic support there now, but the archer shots are coming through strong and true. Looks like he's going to attempt to pass here, and it somehow gets off. Logic picks up the flag, and he's already near bars. Now, there is still a lot of blues roaming there, left alive, but BM5 is not going to be able to stop Logic from getting up on top of the map here. Gengar does have a steal on the other side, which is important to note, but Logic looks like he's going to be able to get over bars here. Is being threatened by both the assassin and the archer, though, and this is still a very dangerous position for him. BM5 could headshot him any second. He will. And the defense mounted by Blue Team at bars there is enough to stop Red's offense, despite some heroics. It really does feel like Blue Team's system is functioning here quite a bit, as the Bedtime boys are going to be going up 3-0 after K-Rex gets the recovery on the Ninja Steal.
Yeah, and we saw the same thing on both sides. There was actually a Elf steal and a pass to a soldier on both sides. One team just ended up having the better archer in that scenario, I think, and really wasn't pressured there. I mean, it might have been the fact that there's just no one on him. He was able to get that headshot very, very easily.
Now, we do see a steal from Logic. He does get knocked off the map here, but there will be a backup attempt from Big Bird, most likely. A lot of pressure on him already, but Link is going to be following up Big Bird here at the flag. If Big Bird can get some separation and does, as he does, force out the frenzy, then Link may have a good attempt here, especially with Food Court support, but no. BM5 says absolutely not, and the medic goes down. Link not able to make it out of the flag room. On the other side of things here, we do see AP Literature roamed up to XX dead. Looks like Gengar Sleep is being tormented by Slurp and the Mage. So definitely a precarious position for Gengar to be in. Looks like the rest of the offense here, including Pi, will be stalled inside the flag room before going down, and Blue Team's offense this time does get halted. However, Cupcake is over here supporting Gengar and does get the restore, so all that work that AP Literature put into the soldier is going to go to absolutely nothing. However, they are able to spot out the medic and get the kill.
Yeah, I mean, that being said, AP Lit didn't kill the soldier there, but the work that AP Lit and that ninja put into that soldier really... Their offense wasn't able to come in together at all. This offense is being constantly split here on this map.
So we do see an interesting adaptation. Now Chak is alive here on Chemist, which means they've swapped him off of the Archer, giving up on that strategy altogether. Chak is not necessarily known for being the best chemist in the world, but does have a lot of experience on offense, and he may be looking for a pass here. He does have a medic coming up close to him, and Food Court is able to get the initial regen off before going down. However, it looks like he's going to be caught here by all of this massive group of roaming and will go down. We do also see 93 over on the Archer, having swapped off of offense here to replace Chak.
Yeah, and this is something where, I mean, we're 2 maps into the series, almost halfway through Blackout now, and they're just trying to adapt. Putting 93 on the Archer might give them a little bit more pressure on a BM5, but I'm not sure if Chak on the Chemist is the solution.
Well, you definitely have to try some adaptations here. It's a very bad position to be in if you're Midnight Snacks, and Pi does already have a steal going up to mid. The roaming is going to be able to stall him here, but Cupcake is near him as the medic. Trying to get the heal off. Looks like the regen is down, but she gets headshotted by the Archer 93, actually putting in a bit of work there. Now, we do see the Lightning knock Pi back a bit further, and that allows Slurp to get in and get the kill. We do have a steal on the other side from Big Bird, but Big Bird is trying to get through the middle of the map as Heavy. There's an assassin there on him. Hamza is there with the Frenzy as well, but Chak is there to follow things up as Soldier, going over to a class that he's a little more familiar with, one might say. And it looks like he's going to be juking out most of the defense, not necessarily Will, but definitely getting everyone else, and trying to get over to the middle of the map. There's a lot of blue roaming in his way, though, and it looks like his movement is still managing to carry him through a little bit here. And it's kind of incredible. Someone needs to break out the Benny Hill theme at this point, but he's not able to stall for quite long enough to make it over the food court. We do have a backup steal there from Kriz, and a lot of red pressure is being put on this flag room right now. However, Pi has a steal on the other side, and if there's a lot of pressure on one side, that may mean Blue has an opportunity on the other. While Pi does go down, there will be an attempted backup steal here. Looks like Dave is going into the flag area as Ninja. Shoki's not on the flagpole, and he will be purling towards spawn. Doesn't make it out, though, as Shoki reacts quickly and is able to silence him. K-Rex does also go into the flag as well to try and kill the Pyro, but Shoki is able to tank that damage, and Midnight Snacks will hold on defense after putting a lot of pressure on offense.
Yeah, and we finally do see Chak moving over to this offensive Soldier. That's probably what we expected to see him playing coming into this series, not on the Archer. Originally swapped over to the Chemist, but now on the Soldier. And he gets immediate value here, and we need to see them get something going very soon, as we only have 17 minutes left here in this series.
Now, Logic does make it up the wall as Soldier, but is not able to make it any further. The medic here, Food Court, will likely go down, and Red's offense will reset yet again. They are getting steals, but Blue's roaming defense is really locking them in place after that happens. Definitely Archer advantage here mattering, as well as BM5 is able to knock out 93 before he even makes it up to top mid. Now, we do have a steal from Gengar. He has been stuck in Red's flag room, however, and the lightning from AP Literature actually sends Pi sky high, stalling him from getting to the flag. We do have a steal from Chak on the other side, but he does go down to Hamza. Big Bird's still in the flag room as Heavy trying to get off a lot of damage, and will actually get the steal, but with the Pyro there, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, very good recovery there again from Hamza. And I think we are seeing, actually, Hamza and Will put in a lot of work for this defense. Will, I would have expected, but Hamza having a fairly good performance here on Pyro.
Now, we are going to see Chak 1v1 Saiyan here, and actually use the opportunity to get past him, as Saiyan inexplicably decides to wall climb up in the middle of the fight. We do see a steal on the other side from Logic, using the distraction offered by Chak to get some distance. Food Court does get a restore there, and it looks like Logic has the opportunity to go up on top of XX if he wants to, but is instead being knocked around a bit here by the roaming. Will and Evan in particular doing a lot to get in the way, and now BM5 knocking him further back with the punch bow. However, Logic, after tanking all of that damage, almost gets up to exit to the middle of the map, but will go down as he runs out of wall climb. We do see a steal here from Link trying to get out of the flag room, and it looks like he's turned on lagger mode as he manages to get through the initial bit of the roaming here. This time he's going out in front of Blue's spawn and will likely make it to the middle of the map, as he's definitely well ahead of the recovery. However, Will is catching up on Assassin. He does manage to get the initial block off, but the Frenzy from Hamza is able to catch Link there. On the other side of things, we do have a steal from Carson. Carson making it out relatively far, as Elf does drop the flag before he goes down, leading to a backup steal from Pi, trying to go out to the middle of the map after baiting the roaming over to the side. However, AP Literature is there in really good position to slow down and freeze Pi, knock him back, and prevent him from getting up to the top of the map. However, we do see some support from Gengar Sleep to allow him to progress further. There is a medic there as well as a Pyro on the low ground, but Pi did get some support there from Cupcake, and in fact has 2 stakes now. Still a lot of Reds roaming there, catching up on him, but Pi is going to be able to climb up to the top of the map, gets webbed there. Very nice web from Mr. Ant, actually, to catch the Soldier, and Pi will not be able to cross the map. There will be a backup steal from Gengar Sleep. Gengar Sleep also trying to go out towards the middle, perhaps not well advised considering that that's where all of Red's recovery was coming back from. But Dave does get a ninja steal here and is able to drop over to Pi. Very good backup ninja steal there, as most of Red's recovery had vacated the flag room, and now Pi is relatively safe by his team's spawn side. Dave doing a good job there, executing a nice idea to get Pi over to spawn. We do have a steal on the other side from Link. Link has gotten almost over to the bars as Chemist, and he may attempt to pass here again. However, there will be a ninja on him, Paddishly trying to get into the way. But looks like Link will be going for a pass here momentarily, with Chak waiting on the other side of the bars. It's going to be exactly that, except Logic. No, Shoki. Shoki, incredibly, picks it up on the same side as Soldier, Shoki having swapped off of the Pyro. And instead of giving the flag to perhaps Red's best Soldier capper, or at least one of their stronger ones, the flag is now in the hands of their one-time Pyro, Shoki.
Yeah, I mean, I think we are really seeing a coordination difference here between blue and red. Shoki will go down, actually, over to Mike, who I believe is Ninja at the moment. Another drop, same with the recovery.
No, Mike picked it up on Pyro, and that's just going to be that. Pi will make it over to the flag here, and Shoki's brief stint as a flag holder ends in disaster, I'm afraid to say. It'll be interesting to see if Mike goes back over to roaming defense here, but before that can happen, Chak does have a steal, will go down to damage there, and Food Court gets knocked off the map to secure the 4th capture for Bedtime Boys. Now with just 1 capture left, 1 capture of slack left, Red has to put together a miracle to be able to come back and win this series. If they allow 1 more capture, it's going to be game over, and Bedtime Boys will take a decisive 5-0 win on Blackout. Now, we do have a steal there from, the Ninja, in fact. Logic passing it over to Food Court, who in turn passes it over to Link on the other side of the bars. Red definitely favoring this bar strategy here. BM5 does get in headshot range. Big Bird picking up the flag now, and there won't be a second follow-up headshot. However, he does get knocked into spawn. Oh no! The sprint jumps near the spawn area, leading to disaster for Big Bird. We do have a steal on the other side from Paddishley, trying to make it out to the middle. Multiple ninjas on him now, and he will go down to 2008, but there will be a follow-up steal from Evan, who had roamed up to try and get in the way of Big Bird. Evan, trying to make it out towards mid, already taken a lot of damage, and he's not known for his mobility, but he does get boosted up to the top of the map. He has briefly run out of wall climb there, but he does have a lot of support from Red Team. AP Literature getting in the way as the pass to Pi comes through. Cupcake is there on the low ground to support, and Pi will get a very quick restore there. He just has to make it over the bars here, but Shoki is stalling him. Pyro on the low ground, frenzies and gets the kill. Mike managing to do just enough there, but Cupcake picks it up instead, using a web to keep him away. Very heroic play there from Cupcake, but Mike is still left alive! And with the frenzy, he takes out the 2nd Soldier capper. Perhaps Cupcake should have just held on to it in the first place.
Still coming through from You're So Easy. This is Logic here. Let's see what class he's on real quick. I believe he is actually on the Ninja, pulling into flag right now, and he will get the capture for them. First cap of the map for them. They're going to need to get a lot more of those in a very short amount of time, though.
Yeah, and that is going to be Red's Ninja capture, putting them back into the game a little bit, but it means that at the last minute, they will have to rely on steals from things other than their Ninja. And Pi is already out towards mid here, this time opting to go low ground as Cupcake is there to support. AP Literature could try and get in the way, but gets headshotted by BM5. BM5 headshotting the recovery here, as Pi does take a lot of damage to Shoki and Kriz, but will still manage to make it through. On the other side of things, we do have a steal from Link, being chased by the Pyro Hamza, but lags ahead of everyone. Link, again using his high ping to really get some distance here. Will go down, though, and it looks like Pi may be able to walk things in from the flag now, if there isn't a good backup steal coming through from Red. This could just be the end of the game right here, as Mike is waiting in the flag room, but is forced to burn Frenzy early. Chak does get a steal going out towards mid. He does have medic support, though. BM5 is going for the headshot, but narrowly misses the first shot, and as we all know with Archer, the first shot is usually the most deadly. Dave trying to get in the way, Paddishley as well, but it looks like Chak is going to make it over to his side of the bars. Does go down to a late headshot from BM5, but Shoki again picks up the flag. Shoki being chased by Dave, but will be able to avoid his EU nemesis. And again, we have a stalemate here. Pi versus Shoki.
Yeah, crossing my fingers here that Shoki performs a little better in this one than the last one. But you do gotta think, like, a stalemate here really favors blue team. They're up by 3 captures here. Red team is going to have to 5 cap this map to win. And you already see KRX calling on the chat here that blue team just wants the turtle. You have a third of the map left and such a large advantage here. Recovering this flag doesn't matter as much as keeping it here for you as the blue team.
Yeah, no, we will see Evan try and get in here on Shoki as well, with the assassin there as the follow-up will coming through. But instead, BM5 gets a headshot while they're all distracted with the immediate threats. and it looks like Shoki will just go down. That should be the game as Pi walks it into the flag, and Bedtime boys have taken a 2-1 win against the Midnight Snacks.
And I think that last map there was really what we talked about pregame. BM5 got so much value on Archer there. Headshot after headshot on flag carriers, and the final headshot there onto the last flag carrier of the match, Shoki, to end the stalemate and to win the game for his team.
Yeah, definitely a strong performance from BM5. There were a lot of standouts on Blue Team today, I think it's fair to say, but BM5 probably takes the cake as our MVP for their team. I think Link also had a very standout performance from Red Team, but it just wasn't enough. I submit BM5 and Link as the MVPs of the game to chat. We'll see how they feel about that.
Yeah, I think another strong performance there actually came out from Carson. Didn't get many of the caps on the Elf or on the Chemist, but did a very good job of enabling other players on his team to get them as well. Although I don't think it's quite MVP caliber, I would still give it over to BM5 there for Blue Team.
Yeah, absolutely. Will definitely did have a strong game. Now, interesting to note as well that this was another matchup between Dave and Food Court. And again, Dave comes out on top, just as Ad Fundum did in the tournament semifinals against Olympus. So it seems like Food Court can't quite manage to get these wins against Dave and the teams that Dave leads. It'll be interesting to see if there's another matchup between these two squads going forward to maybe settle that matchup once and for all.
Yeah, we could see them play each other later on in the actual playoff stage. Again, this is just for seeding right now. We're seeing these teams compete to see who they'll go against at the beginning of the playoff stage in the bracket. So we actually could see, and I think with like how this went, these teams aren't too far apart. It seems pretty much like a stomp on paper, but I think it was a lot closer than what that shows. And I wouldn't be too surprised to see these teams get pretty similar seeds going into the group stage, or the playoff stage rather.
Mm-hmm. And Red's offense definitely impressed at times, but their defense did seem a little weaker than perhaps we were anticipating. We didn't see some of the roles that we expected from certain players, and Mike was only over on Pyro at the end of the game, which Shoki is known a bit more for bulk defense than for Pyro, so it'll be interesting to see if they reevaluate that roster decision a bit further down the line. Also worth noting that Food Court had some of his later picks in today, and in fairness, it didn't seem like they had a real Archer main as well. I believe they picked up Pepe for that purpose, but he was nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, we were speculating before the match, like, which one of these alt accounts is on is Pepe, and it just happens to be none of them, really. And I think the move over to 93 on Archer and check on offense was a good one. It just came out so late that I don't think it made much of a difference.
Yeah. Now, that was just the first game of the group stage, and both of these teams could do a lot to either continue their fortunes or reverse them going forward. We don't have official matchups out for the next set of group matches, and we do have 2 more matches left in this group stage, but do you think Food Court and company will be able to turn things around going forward in the tournament? And do you think Dave's team will continue to win?
I think these are two teams that could kind of hover around that like middle of the pack, and I think it's a very volatile spot to be in. I could see either of these teams taking more losses, more wins, etc. It really depends on who they play next. I think there is maybe like a pretty clear-cut top 3 or 4 teams, but I think one of these teams could squeak into it pretty easily, given their ideal roster showing up, them figuring out their roles, etc. And again, like I said, I do think these are teams that can take a win or loss on any given match day. I don't think today, again, was too much of a stomp, like we were saying. Yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting group stage, especially with these teams participating in it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that was a very entertaining match in a lot of different ways. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, and I believe that's going to be the end of our broadcast today. This is Bosuke, alongside my co-commentator,
Miski,
signing off, and we'll see